Alright, let's see, is that on? That's on. Hello, today is currently the 19th of, or actually you can see the date in the bottom corner. And I want to be doing some research into my FMP, Unit 13. And I wanted to research more into guns and how they fit into some games. And I have a game here that I'm really interested in that I recently discovered that I feel like I could take from the gun design or how they implement it. Now, the game is Enter the Gungeon. I have it in the small corner here, and we will be doing a little walkthrough, a little preview into some of the design aspects of this game and how it chooses to use the gun theme. And I need the gun themes because in my project, the theme is Revolution, we are going to have a lot of gun related things because it's going to be a lot about revolution and about war mainly. That's why I have set this up today for a small little walkthrough for research purposes. Right off the bat, the font has a bullet to it. Now, I wonder what kind of like research went into making this game, because there are lots of things that are gun related and so many small references to pop culture, where instead of loading it says reloading. There's chambers everywhere for loading screens. The entryways are bullets, so they made use of the geometry of the bullets, like the cylindrical shapes. You'll also find that the elevators are bullets as well. The currency, if you look at the top right corner, it's shaped as a magazine. I don't think that is related to anything, but it is kind of creepy. Like the guards have bullets on them as well. See, oh, it says reloading, it doesn't say loading. Of course, we have like the small bullets on just rectangles in the bottom corner. And you have like health, armor, and your armor is a bullet, so it's asymmetrical. You have a McCree looking figure here. And like the enemies are bullets. The little shotgun designs. So I think while making research for this, I need to find multiple stories and multiple cultural things because this game makes a lot of use out of pop culture on how they shape design, even though it's so gun related, right? So you might think, oh, they just looked into guns in like real life, but they've actually made research on like every part of culture. Like you'll see it later on as well. So you have some guns that have like culture references. Like there is a bolter from Warhammer, but it's called a jolter, to avoid copyright infringement and whatever. And some of the more classic guns are seen here. So it obviously takes from like first person shooter games, like giving those bullets their AKs, giving these bullets their revolvers. And it has a sense of contrast aesthetic. So all of these colors, they're not mellow, they're not muddy. They're all very contrast colors. They're vibrant, and they really pop out at you. Like this pot, that's a blue pot. That's a bright red pot. And so it really makes fun of contrast colors, and so you get an idea of what type of audience this is for. So a lot of age ranges, but it also keeps the person like it keeps like older people just like engaged with some of the references it can make. Like the bolter, like it's not obvious that kids are into Warhammer. Well, maybe some are if they're rich, but like it keeps older like audiences entertained by the themes and the jokes it can make through it. And I think when I'm going forward with it, like my project, I also want to appeal to younger audiences, but appeal to older audiences in a sense that they can understand some of the jokes I make. Where it's just cool for the kids and just like entertaining for adults to partake in. So not just to play, but to partake in it, to really like immerse themselves in that universe. And as a concept artist, I value this kind of detail in a game. where it can keep everybody entertained and still keep an edge to it. Because it's really fun playing this game. I get really angry easily while playing games, except this one. Because how can you get angry at this game? Okay, I understand. But like the hearts are in half shapes. I don't know if that's related to anything, but they look bullet-esque. The hearts look metallic. Your currencies are like bullets. Everything's bullet themed. So even though the main theme you can argue is about guns, the smaller details, one that might go into guns are all bullet themed. Now, personally, in my project, I'm doing it on the revolution in Turkey, and I might look into different movies and aspects of my regular life which I can involve cultural references in. I was already thinking of involving Elden Ring into it as like a main side theme, sorry, because it's popular at the time and it would attract attention due to Elden Ring working really well. Even like a sword user has bullets. I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm actually going to make swords that also double as guns. That is a cool idea. Now here we have the shopkeep. And this is designed like you're just your regular bullet hell and like randomly generated dungeon. You have like an array of resources that is given to you every set time, and how you use those resources also uh, depict how well you're going to do. Which that is a game design aspect that I don't know if I could incorporate into concept art, because I've always been interested in incorporating game design aspects into concepts, because even though we have a lot of freedom as concept artists to like explore a certain theme or a certain set of themes, having the game design integrated into the the concept art itself is something cool where you can see through it and you have a better understanding from the game. It also helps the game designers with inspiration of what they might argue with, and it's just really interesting. So I don't know while designing this game if they did design concept art for it, how they'd go about going about the randomly generated terrain. Because in one part of the dungeon we have like one bullet. We have the aspect of like, oh, the dungeon is always shifting because it's mysterious and people get confused because of it. And I think that's really cool, you know? I think that's I think it's neat that they did that. Because then there's an explanation for why the damn thing's always moving. Okay, so now we got a regular shotgun. It made a small reference there under the name, and it has little lore pieces for every item in the game. Like masterwork bullets, and like it gives you a sense of grandeur, not grandeur, but it gives you a sense of like something grander, you know, and like there's something archaic, and it's funny because it's bullets, but there's something archaic to them, and that's really cool. Peer-reviewed studies have shown that these bullets are precisely one better than normal bullets. And you have stuff like the regular shotgun. A regular shotgun, there's nothing special about it. Favored by the shotgun kin, and like it gives you lore and all the items tie in, you know? And like there's like small pieces of references to culture here with some of the guns. Like here's that Space Marine bolter I mentioned, which they identify as a jolter, .95 caliber. And here, I like this. The explanation for it goes, originally built to kill the thick-skinned space mutants, which are definitely not orcs from Warhammer 40k or anything. The jolter fires unreasonably large shells. A clear reference to Warhammer. And I just figured this out today before I got writing for my FMP. I just went into the game and I found this, and I really liked it. And here you have some guns. Like, I don't get this. I don't get its reference, but I know there's a reference to it somewhere. It's just a gold gun, an AU gun. And there's gag guns, which shell. It fires shotguns, and the shotguns fire, regular bullets. A pea shooter, quite literally a pea shooter. Bubble blaster. They utilize one of the enemies as a gun, which I think is really cool because I want to make, if I'm going to make any guns for the characters that I'm going to display at all, I want to make like skulls on guns, just like because the battlefield is cruel and it's cold, so they really like made use of whatever they could find to put these guns together. So like skulls and enemy pieces. Shade's revolver. I like this one. It's Smiley's revolver, which isn't a reference to like, you know, smiley faces. Short scrub. Blunderbuss. Like they looked into the history, like they looked into everything. And there's a gun below here, which you guys would like, if I could find it. But it's a very clear reference, and like everybody likes that gun. Uh, I was hoping that I could time finding the gun. Oh, here we go. Proton Backpack, which is a reference to Ghostbusters, deals extra damage to ghosts and specters. Originally brought to the Gungeon by a team of investigators who suspected that something strange was going on, which that final sentence is like a reference to a lyric, if there's something strange in the neighborhood, who you gonna call? Well, Ghostbusters. And so I really like the way this is designed. And I'll stop recording and stop the research when I get to the first boss. Did I get everything? Am I ready? How much do the blanks cost? Take one of those. Oh yeah, and there's another thing, the blanks. You can stop all bullets in a room by pressing down both the sticks on your controller at the same time, or Q on your keyboard. And they're called blank shells. You know how like they test fire guns and they have blank shells? The skull's a bullet. Okay, it's the twins. I like the character design here. This little symbiotic relationship. Oh, so that's Smiley's revolver. One's smiley and one's shady. But I just think it's really cool that, like, it's just the cool theme of this. Like, seeing this, it's impossible to say, oh, this is horrible, you know? Like, who's going to argue that this doesn't look cool? And I love what they done with this game. And I was hoping that I could also incorporate some aspects of this game into my art. See, when you kill one, the other one gets angry and a little emoticon pops up, which is like, that clearly appeals to younger audiences. And even though it's all gun related, it's not really that violent. There you go, when you defeat the bosses, classic game style, you get a whole bunch of rewards and things to help. Oh, by the way, that reward, that little credit that you use outside of the dungeon, that is rewarded based on how you do, so how well you do. I think it might be random as well. And here's an interesting thing. In presentation, this just popped up. I didn't really see how it came here, but look at the gun itself. Lowercase r. And every time you fire, it says bullet. Bullet +1. And that's because I have the +1. And all the items as a synergy, if you see it below. The gun I'm currently holding in the gun section has a UI indicator which is bright cayenne and turquoise color, which doesn't look like any of the colors seen in the Gungeon because they're all sort of royal colors and medieval colors blended in with very contrast colors. So the cayenne is kind of outlandish, and they help use that in UI. Now, I'm not a UI designer, but if I were to do design UI, because I know companies can have you do different things in like different times, I would incorporate that as well. And yeah, this was my little research, my little 14-minute bit into Enter the Gungeon. I didn't explore every aspect of the game, but I had a lot of commentary on it that I feel like would help in my FMP. To all you people at like who's working for UAL and who's reviewing this video, I'm terribly sorry you had to sit for a gameplay and a random like young adult talking about why he likes this game so much. But thank you for listening anyway, and I'll see you guys, later.